So for about the past decade or so, ever since about 10 or 11, I've been trying to figure out how to use transistors, and it's been stumping me. It's one of those big stumbling blocks that for some reason my broken mind cannot process the information. I understand how they work I've read books and watched documentaries about them and watched tutorials about them. I understand how they work on the molecular level, or actually subatomic level, how the electrons pass through the layers or whatever. I understand all that. I understand how they say they're supposed to be wired up. But for some reason, whenever I try to actually use them, they don't work. Until yesterday. It finally, clicked in my head. I figured out how to use transistors. And this is going to be a very, very, very simplistic tutorial on how to switch something on and off with a transistor. Most notably, like a MOSFET, because that's the ones I'm interested in the most. But we'll also show the little ones, like these, which can only handle about 200 milliamps of current. So as you can see, each of these transistors has 3 pins. And the names of the pins are base, emitter, and collector. And hey, even this transistor has it labeled out. There's a B for base, E for emitter, and we can extrapolate that the middle one is C for collector. I believe this transistor is a PNP type, meaning positive, negative, positive, or positive, negative, positive, as opposed to NPN, which would be negative, positive, negative. It has to do with how it's structured on the inside. So we have emitter, positive comes in here, the collector, negative comes out here. So if we were wanting to have a circuit, we'd have the circuit run through here. And then in order to turn on, to connect those 2 pins together, we have to put positive power to the base. And so we connect the emitter, or the positive of the battery, or whatever we're using, to the base, and that turns on these 2 pins. Now, I believe it would be opposite with NPN, so where you'd have negative here and positive here, and you have to connect the negative to the emitter. But I might be wrong. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but I do know how to get these transistors to work, so let's wire them up. So for this circuit, we're going to use this transistor to turn on this 12-volt computer fan. First off, we're going to get our power, so we have negative, and we have positive from my universal power supply. Then we're going to make sure that it'll work all right, because these fans have diodes in them. No. There we go. So now what we do is we connect this up here. And now we have these 2 alligator clips. And if they connect, we'll know for sure, because we'll see power being pulled from the universal power supply, and we'll hear and see the fan turning. But remember, this is positive and this is negative. Okie dokie, so move these over. And now we will take the negative, put it on the collector of this transistor. Then we'll take the positive and put it on the emitter of this transistor. Now, if I connect these 2 pins together, you can see the current passes through my multimeter. So we're not actually turning on the transistor, we're just shorting it out with my multimeter. Now if I go like this, it's pulling a fraction of the current, but it is still allowing 100 milliamps of current to go through the transistor. It's kind of inefficient because it takes a lot of power, but this transistor is meant to handle a lot more power, so maybe that's just why. Whoops. It's the problem, they're really close, so sometimes they short out, like if they just connect to each other. Now let's try one of the small transistors. Now with these ones, I'm going to bend it out because I have over 1,000 of these. I don't really care if I break the pins. So now we have the transistor. I believe this is the collector, this is the base, and this is the emitter. Now if we cross over these 2, the positive with the emitter, with the base, it doesn't do anything. Because I believe this might be an NPN type. Wait, what? Now if we go connect the negative to the base, or the collector to the base, it turns on. This is so weird. But that's just how it seems to work. Now, we can actually use these other big MOSFETs, because they're rated for 4 amps of current, and we can control a big motor. Or, not really big, but big compared to the transistor. Whoops. Wrong pin. Now this thing is getting, oh yeah, it's getting pretty warm because they're meant to have a heat sink on them to help dissipate the heat, because that much power going through this little transistor is quite a bit. I'm very happy that I finally have a rudimentary understanding of transistors so that I can use them in like a variable frequency drive or motor controller. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching. See ya!